Olympics, but the lion's share of today will be dedicated to Chicago Marathon. And then on Friday, we'll do Boston. We'll do Boston because Boston is going to be on Monday. Chicago is going to be on Sunday. Uh, by the way, the race available in Canada and Australia on FloTrack. If you're in Canada, or Australia, and want to watch Chicago Marathon, you can watch that on FloTrack. But there was actually some big news in Chicago because they basically added a whole bunch of people and had a whole bunch of people scratch. And this happens, additions and subtractions happen all the time in major marathons, but not, I don't think, in this type of volume and not announced all at once. Um, so we'll be able to discuss whether or not these changes are going to make it easier or harder for specific American athletes, or just in general, is it going to improve the quality of the field? What was your first thought when you saw all these changes in the Chicago field?
Yeah, Travis, there's a link in the thing called "Who's In, Who's Out." If you want to put up that link, so you can show the people who were added and people who were removed from. And then I want to ask you, who do you? I mean, it's kind of like a trade. Who do you think wins this trade? Put it up here. I mean, you have Mola El Abbasi. I'm bad at names.
Mhm.
Kimarui, Korir, Kukuchi, Ayala, Sid Vaughn. I could go on and on. And then people coming, those are people who have left. And then notables who have come in is Ruben Kipiego, Dixon Chumba, Kengo Suzuki. I'm going to be honest, I don't know many of these names. I haven't heard of many of these
Mhm.
people. But notable like Americans leaving is Sid Vaughn. That's probably the most notable American. And then the notable Americans coming in are people like Bob Thompson, Sarah Pagano,
Mhm.
um, Ian Butler. You can see the full list on your screen if you're watching on YouTube.
So on the women's side, it undoubtedly got stronger because you added
Yeah.
on the women's side Vivian Kiplagat, who's run 221, and Meseret Balete, who's run 224. Now, ordinarily, you say 221, 224 in the era of major marathoning. Heck, we just saw what happened in London with all those women who were sub 219. But in this field, where you only had Ruth Chepnegich and then a huge gap and then a whole bunch of Americans, it makes a big difference in terms of who can win. And obviously, how many Americans, if you're looking at this from an American perspective, can get in to the podium, right? Or get in that top 5 or get in that top 10, because now you've added 2 women there who legitimately are top 3 in this race, and if something happens to Chepnegich, could obviously win. Now, on Monday's show, you floated the possibility, hey, Sarah Hall, Kira D'Amato, like Emma Bates, these women could win because in a marathon we're used to things going wrong. And yeah, Chepnegich is this huge favorite. Her PB is 3 minutes better than Sarah Hall. She's run a world title. She's run fast times. But someone having an off day in a marathon is very, very common. So the opportunity, if only one person has to have a bad day for you to be able to win, I think you're in a pretty good position. So on the women's side of things, I think this dramatically increases the quality of the race just by adding these 2 women. Even though it is someone who, if you just look at PBs, Kiplagat would slot in at the 3 seed, Valette would slot in at the 5 seed, but it just adds more women who sub 225. In Kiplagat's case, she's a low 221 woman, so I think it adds quality. Now, can an American still win this race? To me, Gordon, I still say absolutely yes. Absolutely yes, because Hall can beat both those women on a good day. And then you still come down to the fact of, okay, Chepnegich would just need to have an off day, and then Hall is right there in position to win.
Yeah. So I think the additions and subtractions don't really change much of the dynamic of the men's and women's field. Women, it does add a little bit more depth, like you mentioned, but
Yeah.
in general, the same kind of top storylines of kind of Chepnegich versus the Americans is still going on in the women. And on the men's side, everyone wants to know what Galen Rupp does. Can he kind of bounce back from his Olympic run of eighth place?